acoustic attacks? What does that even mean?
Sonic warfare can take any shape or form. Drones, sonic booms, explosions, pager attack. Well, I guess you can hear it now.
Quand on pense à la guerre, on imagine des armes à feu, des tanks, des avions, des bombes, des drones. Mais si on n'a pas vécu de conflit, on ne se rend pas compte que le bruit, lui aussi, est une arme, qui effraie, qui assourdit, qui traumatise. Comme dans cette manifestation en 2025 à Belgrade, en Serbie, où la police est accusée d'avoir utilisé un canon à son, une arme dont le bruit est bien au-dessus de la tolérance humaine, pour disperser la foule. Se battre avec du bruit, c'est ce qu'on appelle la guerre sonore.
You know, if you're a victim of music torture, the sounds that you encounter may be completely identical to the sounds that you would seek out when you go to a nightclub. Repetitive beats, loud volumes, flashing lights.
Aujourd'hui, des artistes essaient de déjouer les effets de cette guerre sonore en détournant les sons associés à l'état d'urgence et à la mort. Trax est parti à leur rencontre. Premier arrêt, Beyrouth, où la guerre du son est une réalité de tous les jours. La capitale libanaise est régulièrement survolée par des drones et des avions de chasse israéliens qui vont parfois jusqu'à briser le mur du son. C'est ce qu'on appelle un sonic boom.
أنا ساكن بالضاحية بالحارة كل الطيران يعني ما كان يضرب إلا على الضاحية.
أنا سمعت صوت جرسو ضرب خاف على بنتي بس هيدا بدل في ongoing anxiety.
Je pense que c'est fait exprès pour nous mettre dans cette situation d'alerte tout le temps.
Au Liban, on avait rendez-vous avec Steve Goodman, alias Code9, DJ, légende de la bass music, fondateur du label Hyperdub, docteur en philosophie et expert de la guerre du son.
If I think about one example that got me interested in this whole area was police sirens, ambulance sirens and so on, and how they would appear in music that I loved.
Dans son livre Guerre sonore, Steve Goodman détaille la manière dont les fréquences audio peuvent nous contrôler.
An air raid siren is like, do something. Take cover, run away, find safety.
Aujourd'hui, il donne des ateliers de sensibilisation à ces phénomènes.
One of the examples that sonic warfare started with was the use low-flying Israeli jets over Gaza Strip in 2005, creating sonic booms to disturb the population and create this kind of environment of fear, this atmosphere of fear. This is what it looks like from the outside, which is a Western journalist hearing a sonic boom.
Said that was a okay, we just heard a very loud explosion or blast. Not sure, I can't see where that is from.
Cameraman's having a meltdown there. Doesn't know what's going on. There's a history of the use of sound and war in a lot of different contexts.
Sonic warfare, as developed here, is one of the Army's most closely guarded secrets.
Whether it be sonic deception, the use of sound to simulate the presence of troop movements in the battlefield, the use of sound recordings to break morale. Helicopter-mounted loudspeakers were used in American PSYOPs operations during the Vietnam War. One called Wandering Soul and another called the Urban Funk Campaign that come through in films like Apocalypse Now.
Shall we dance?
These kind of techniques have continued, whether it be in US troop deployments in Iraq, in the Iraq wars, or more recently in Gaza with loudspeakers attached to quadcopter drones.
كوادكوبتر تطلق صوت أطفال الآن من مخيم انصارات.
Selon plusieurs journalistes de Gaza et l'ONG Euromed Monitor, dont le fondateur est palestinien, ce qu'on entend sur cette vidéo, c'est des drones israéliens qui jouent des sons d'enfants et de femmes en détresse. Le but, selon ces sources, attirer des réfugiés vers des zones où ils peuvent être pris pour cible. Israël et le Liban sont en situation de guerre depuis 1948. Mais même à des moments de paix relative entre les deux États, la guerre sonore se poursuit. Comme entre 2007 et 2022, période pendant laquelle l'ONG Earshot compte plus de 22 000 incursions illégales d'avions de chasse israéliens dans l'espace aérien libanais. Après des frappes du Hezbollah en soutien à Gaza à partir de fin 2023, Israël envahit le Liban pour la 6e fois en septembre 2024.
Since I was born in 76, I lived all the wars with Israel. When I was a child, I was used to the F-16 and F-15, the sound of the plane and the sonic boom of those planes. This last year war, really the first time they did a sonic boom, I was really afraid because I couldn't recognize the sound. And then I realized it's F-35. I don't know those planes because this is the first time they're using it. So the fear I felt, not the fear of the plane, but the fear that I didn't recognize the sound at all. It's like you're living in a science fiction film, but you're not realizing what's happening. They got me psychologically for a while.
So familiarity, in a way, is one way of de-weaponizing the sounds. Next is another way of de-weaponizing the sound of drones.
Today there's a lot of drones. I'm gonna sing a song today with drone.
Les sons associés à un conflit réactivent les traumatismes de guerre. C'est pour ça que dans ses ateliers, Steve Goodman montre comment neutraliser leur impact. C'est ce que fait ce professeur de chant à Gaza dans une vidéo devenue virale en 2025.
It's interesting thinking about these different techniques, like accompanying the drone, tweaking the pitch, like all of these ways of de-weaponizing, of like creating a distance.
So what should I call you? Should I call you Bullet 222?
Sonic intensity is not just about sonic aggression. As a DJ, you're very aware of your power to inflict high volumes and very intense vibration on a crowd of people who choose to be there.
Au Liban, l'artiste Mohamed Choucair tente lui aussi de se défendre contre la guerre sonore. Cet ingénieur du son, DJ et résident de la radio palestinienne Al-Harra, a créé un instrument à partir du son de drone enregistré depuis son balcon à Beyrouth.
During times of war or complete frustration and incapability of doing something else, I felt like I could use the tools of sound design, even DJing, to manipulate what I have no control over. Sorry about the room. But wait, I'm gonna put this. That way it's nicer to play. This is just your regular MIDI controller. You can think of it as a keyboard. This is the middle C, and middle C is the start of the octave, and this is the sound of the drone as it is. And then, once you fiddle with these effects here, each one will serve a specific function.
Now what you did is like you pitched it?
There's an LFO, which controls the volume, so it goes up and down. You can play the notes. And since the sound of the drone is so full, That's why it's so noisy, because it has a lot of information packed into it. These kind of isolate some frequencies and bring out certain harmonics and mix it into this churchy, angel-like sound, but it could go dark.
Ce sampler est disponible gratuitement en open source et peut être téléchargé partout dans le monde.
The only problem is, when you get out of the studio, it's automatically above your head. It's important for me to do this to raise awareness and to raise funds for an open kitchen back during wartime. My only intention is to just communicate this information as much as possible to the outside world, people who aren't familiar with the drone, because I felt like every time I was talking about the drone, people weren't taking it seriously. They were either fed up or they just didn't really comprehend to what extent the damage is.
Lutter contre la guerre sonore, c'est aussi réinventer les imaginaires liés à l'état d'urgence, et notamment ce son. Les sirènes de police, d'ambulance, d'incendie ou d'alerte au séisme, autant de signaux sonores qui évoquent la peur, la mort ou la guerre.
Sirens have been weaponized and they've become this sonic emblem of policing, of military oppression, and I think there's something quite radical in trying to imagine a different kind of siren that might be liberatory.
Dans son travail, la réalisatrice britannique Ora Satz cherche à leur donner un autre sens.
My fellow studio neighbors will freak out that something's going on. What I loved about this manual siren, so not an electronic one, is that you can really play with the rotations per minute, the RPM, so you can make it growl, you can make it howl, you can make it scream.
It's like almost an instrument.
Well, it is like an instrument, but it's also like an animal. Like you can go through the you can really hear this like animal quality. I was trying to break down the siren sound and listen to it differently, and this helped me because you can tune it yourself. So basically, depending on the rhythm with which you spin it, the sound is very soft or more acute, more kind of aggressive.
Dans son film Preemptive Listening, écoute préventive en français, Ora Satz s'associe à plusieurs musiciens contemporains pour inventer les sirènes du futur, celles qui poussent à l'action au lieu de nous paralyser.
For me, a siren that is needed, we would want to respond to because it moves us.
When filming it close up, this little rotating light, it ended up looking like a lighthouse. It ended up having this kind of quality, it's like a point of orientation. The shorthand of the lighthouse is actually hope.
Now we're talking.
I used I think I burned about 6 in the film, so I only have the nicest ones left. Throughout the film, I'm tracing this arc from the emergency rotating light to the kind of metaphor of the lighthouse. Like when you slow it down, you understand it differently. And what if the sound of the siren wasn't an oppressive or a kind of a call to obedience, but rather it was this sound that we want to respond to.
Le but du projet, nous rappeler que le son d'une alarme n'évoque pas uniquement la détresse, il peut aussi être un signe d'espérance. Par exemple, une ambulance n'est pas censée évoquer la mort, mais plutôt la guérison.
I think when I started working on this project, it was in part a diagnosis of what sirens are, what they're doing to us, and how we're listening to them. And in part, it was a proposition. It was an attempt to recalibrate what sirens could be and think of them imaginatively and open them up to a different kind of reading that might be life-affirming and kind of really reiterating the sense of possibility and freedom rather than oppression.
En 2026, alors que les tensions internationales croissantes font peser la menace d'un conflit mondial, les artistes qui travaillent sur la guerre sonore ébauchent des outils non seulement pour nous défendre, mais aussi pour nous pousser à imaginer un autre futur.
Like a lot of things that are done in the name of emergency, there's a lot of ways in which emergency is weaponized by the powers that be in order to bring in extraordinary measures or martial law. When I talk about a counter-siren, I think of it as this potential sound of change or of revolution or of pushing up against oppression.
Si vous avez aimé ce reportage, abonnez-vous à notre chaîne.